In my 20s, EMU train journeys would consume my mornings and evenings. Ladies' compartment used to be my home on wheels in those hours. This lady, who I met one morning, wore unevenly cut short hair that looked unkempt. She would always be dressed in saris. Absorbed in her world behind her closed eyes, she would sing bhajans. It was not her bhajans, but her devotional absorption that made me notice her. I sat next to her one day. On local trains, no one gets to decide where one would sit. You might be lucky to be standing at a spot which is closer to someone who might get down at the next station. You and a couple of more women run to grab the seat. One who gets it becomes the lucky commuter of the day. This is how I got the seat next to a lady who was absorbed in singing bhajans. I don't recall now how she and I started conversing. Nonetheless, she said she would bring her writings for me the next day. As if it was planned, we found each other next morning easily. She handed over her folder to me and said I did not have to return it. She was detached from what she might have spent months or years writing. Why did she give her treasure to me? I took her folder home with me and made a few insincere attempts to understand her journey through her words. Whom had she addressed in her devotional songs? Her songs did not appeal to me. I carried the folder on the train to return it to her, to be relieved of that which I did not need, could not appreciate. Those words must have been precious to her. So many lives we pass through to become who we are. Words of a writer are concentrated capsules of her eternal journey to the point where she stands at the moment when she writes something. A smile one wears has millions of stories behind it. We are not a product of this moment. We have been in the making since eternity. We have passed through millions of species. We have designed ourselves a kaleidoscope of hopes, fears, betrayals, anger, desires, greed, illusion, madness. Her words on those sheets of paper were not a product of few hours, but millions of lives she had invested in them. Her words were her unique code that stored millions of her sufferings, pleasures, realizations, and transformations. Only she could decode her words or the ones she wrote them for. I was a foreigner who did not understand the language of her heart. We shared the language of words, but not their inner meanings. Her thoughts and feelings behind those words were alien to me. I had an underdeveloped heart. Why did she give her treasure to me at all? This one-way sharing of inner treasure took place more than 2 decades ago on a local train whose doors never closed, whose windows would always remain open for the wind to pass through. Mobile phones were a luxury. People would be all ears to what one had to say. You could chat with your friends and acquaintances, admire their clothes, hairstyles, and accessories. You could whisper to them how the woman standing at the far end looked weird or was she sad. When men would barge in the ladies' compartment, women of valor would get together to push them out at the next station. Boys would impress pretty girls with their heroism, which they flaunted by swinging their bodies through the open doors of the trains. Their only support used to be iron handles. Every year, a few would lose their lives on railway tracks. Every year, some parents mourned the loss of their young children. On the train, people would sell snacks, cosmetics, and whatnot. Once we saw a girl changing into a western dress, stacking her Indian wear in a big handbag. Something or the other would shock us every day. An expert beautician was once threading her friend's eyebrows on a moving train. I wonder if she ever made a world record of some sort. Metro rails are lifeless. People on metro rails remain quiet, but their fingers chat incessantly with those who they meet only over their smartphones. Eating is not allowed on the metro. Only commuting is legal. Nothing can replace the charm of local trains with cream and green stripes. I kept looking for the lady in the ladies' compartment carrying her devotional songs in my hand. I searched for her once the crowd thinned. She was nowhere to be found. Her songs that I did not appreciate at all were weighing on my heart. She had mentioned to me where her office was. She worked for a government department which was located only a few meters from the Indian Express office in Jhandewalan, where I worked then. I walked down to her office first thing after leaving the train station. She was not in her office. The office peon showed me her desk, on which I left the folder and hurried to my office. She was not on the train the next day either. I never saw her again on the train during my remaining months at the Indian Express. My 6-year relationship with the EMU train ended with my job. A new phase of life began. Her devotional songs did not etch a feeling on my stone heart. In the last couple of years, I have thought about that lady many times. A faint image comes before my eyes. Her eyes are closed. She's singing. Has short hair. I wonder where she is. Has she found what she was looking for? She must have retired or nearing retirement. I wonder if she has left the household life for her eternal lover. I often tell myself that she must have seen my future, so she wanted to share with me the glory of devotion. Maybe she wanted me to walk the path of divine love. The super soul in her heart must have guided her. I wonder if I would ever see her again to let her know that I, too, have resumed my journey back home. No matter where she is, no matter what she did to her songs, the one whom she wrote them for cherishes them. The divine loves his lovers. He sings to them who sing for him.